welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, for round 3 of La Liga. It is Barça coming up against Real Valladolid, and you know what? Jules Kounde has finally been registered. It is a miracle because La Liga have sat down, they've actually looked at the documents that we presented to them, not just this weekend, but previously, and they finally come to the conclusion that, you know what? We can register Kounde. Thank you, La Liga. Thank you, Javier Tebas. It's nice to have our new signing available just 2 weeks after he could have been, but we will take that now. And we will move on and hopefully in this game send out a message, send out a statement, and will Jules Kounde make his debut? We're going to be talking all about the game, all about the lineup. Big decisions coming again for Xavi. He's getting used to that. So without further ado, let's talk about it all here. Come on. Because indeed, on Sunday evening at 7:30 PM local time, a really nice time I feel that is, there should be a fantastic atmosphere inside of the stadium. Barça will host their second home La Liga game of the season. We saw 81,000 fans there for the opener against Rayo Vallecano. We also saw an unbelievable crowd in midweek there for the charity match against Man City. 91,000 there, and we should certainly expect plenty of big numbers once again to really get behind the team and help push us over the line in this game. When you're looking early on, of course, at the La Liga table, Betis, really good start to the season for them there. 3 wins out of 3. Villarreal look really impressive as well. They beat Atletico Madrid, who haven't had the ideal start. Sevilla either, not doing so well. Real Madrid with 2 wins from 2, and Barça unbeaten, of course, but with that slip up in our first game. Very important here that we hit back early on, and especially I feel as well on a weekend where both of our Champions League rivals, Bayern Munich and Inter Milan, they have dropped points in their own league, and I just think that gives us a bit of an extra incentive. We want to show here that we're ready to face this group head on, and that starts right here with building some serious momentum, because this team is certainly capable of matching up with anyone. But of course, guys, in our opening game of the season against Rayo, it was a little bit disjointed, wasn't it? It was a bit frustrating there in that opener. And of course, there was plenty of noise and chaos surrounding that game when it came to all the registrations and everything. And I think last weekend against Real Sociedad, we did improve as a team. It was a complicated game, it was quite complex in terms of changing of systems and obviously a very different kind of game. But in that second half, we kind of saw what Barca are capable of. We especially saw the kind of firepower we have at our disposal, and I would call that second half performance there explosive. We can bring players onto the field who can affect games, who can win it on their own at times, and I cannot wait to see what again our forward players have in store for us coming into this one. And that is what I think, once again, it is going to be interesting when you're thinking about the kind of shape, the kind of game that we are going to see ahead of us in this one. When you're looking at the Real Sociedad game, they certainly came out more, didn't they? They allowed much more space in behind, which suited us well. We've got players there who can get into that area and really cause problems and danger, and there was a lot more freedom, to express ourselves in the final third because of the way that Sociedad came out to meet us, which caused us problems, but at the same time it was a game that suited us much more than the one, for instance, against Rayo. That was a game, of course, at our own stadium where they came, they sat very, very deep, difficult to break down, virtually no space there to operate in the final third. And when you're looking at Valladolid, I think it's going to be more towards that, isn't it? Especially when you look at what they did against Sevilla recently, the kind of setup that they had in that game. And look at their centre-backs there. They were even deeper than what Rayo were against us. So again, we can expect here a difficult team to break down. We're going to have to be patient. We're going to have to take good care of the ball and be clinical when we get our chances. That is something that is absolutely essential here, which of course makes Xavi's lineup all the more important. That is, again, the big talking point coming into this game. Of course, it's going to be Marc-Andre ter Stegen in goal. And I want to give him a special shout out here because in the first 2 games of the season, I've got to admit, I've been really impressed with him. Against Rayo, he made big saves, clutch saves at crucial times in the game. And I thought, again, against Real Sociedad, he came up big for us. He was there when it mattered, and he was extremely unlucky, actually, in the goal that he conceded in that game. And of course, he even had the captain's armband in that one. So ter Stegen, got to continue that form, got to have this consistency now. We all want him to be the kind of goalkeeper that we know know he can be, and that continues here. Then at left back, I think nearly every single Barcelona fan are sort of willing Xavi to again start Alejandro Balde. I think we would all be absolutely delighted and excited by that decision. I think it was very encouraging that he didn't start the friendly against Man City. Alba was there from the start. Balde came on and again just highlighted what he can do. He's explosive too. Down that left-hand side, the pace that he has, the agility as well on the ball. He is such an exciting player, and we all want to see him starting at left back. But of course at centre back, there are so many different options for Xavi. And I would just like to say, guys, looking at what we have there, isn't that nice? Because over the past few years at Barcelona, we've had real problems in that area, especially during seasons when we've had injuries. We've been down to the bare bones at centre back, and how nice is it to have all of that quality, all of that depth in that department there. Now, I would certainly look at Ronald Araujo. He's going to be, of course, one of the first names on the team sheet every single week. I think Christensen has had a really good start to his Barca career, and also Eric Garcia, by the way. In the first 2 games of the season, he's been very, very good as well. And I just question here what's going to happen with Jules Kounde, because obviously it's fantastic news that he's with us, that he's registered, that he can play in this game, but against Man City, there was an element there for me that he wasn't quite match sharp, that he wasn't quite ready to be thrown in from the start. Will Xavi put him in there straight away? Because of course, to get that match sharpness, to get yourself up to speed, you do have to play. Or are we going to see Kounde come off the bench? And there's 2 different ways that Xavi could go about this defensively in this game, because we could start there with a back 4. You could either have it, Araujo and Christensen. You could have Araujo and Eric Garcia. You could have Araujo and Jules Kounde, and just go there with a flat back 4 and Sergio Roberto at right back. But of course, there's still the option of doing what he did against Real Sociedad, and then you could include 3 of the centre-backs. You could have Kounde, you could then have Araujo with Christensen, Balde more advanced, and then Dembélé as a sort of wing-back, but not really. In a game like this, he's going to spend more of his time going forward, he's going to be more on the offensive side, and I'm just interested to see what Xavi does. For me, I probably wouldn't overcomplicate it. I would probably stick there with the flat back 4. I thought Sergio Roberto, to be fair to him, played well against Man City. I think he can and should be able to deal with the threat of Valladolid, so I think it would be fine there to sort of not add another centre-back. You need more midfield, you need more attacking players in a game like this to break Valladolid down. In midfield, I think Sergio Busquets will return. Obviously, we saw Frankie de Jong play in that area against Real Sociedad. I don't really think he did enough to warrant a start again in that role. But then who plays alongside Pedri? Pedri didn't play any minutes at all against Man City. That was a good thing for me. Rest him, keep him fresh. He is such a key player. And like Araujo, really, one of the first names on the team sheet. But like I say, who's alongside him? Do you play Frankie in that interior role where he's played very well, did well in the friendly against Man City? Or, and this is the one that I would lean towards personally, Franck Kessié. Is he the man for this kind of game there? I'm thinking about forward runs. I'm thinking about a player there who can unsettle Valladolid there. He can disrupt them with his runs, almost in a sort of similar way to what Paulinho used to do when he was at the club, when he would make those forward runs in behind the centre forward just to create a distraction and then give Lewandowski a bit more space, give the wingers a bit more freedom because of what Kessié can do both on and off the ball. So that's something there that I would look at in midfield with Busquets, Pedri and Kessié. De Jong for sure has the option to play, he could come on, all of that stuff. We know all about his quality. And then up front, the questions very much continue for Xavi. The options very much continue as well. Obviously, it's going to be Robert Lewandowski as that number 9, 2 goals against Real Sociedad. He will be looking to follow that up here. But then what else do you do? Because on the right-hand side, you've got the decision there of either Ousmane Dembélé or Rafinha. Now, I think they both played a really crucial part against Real Sociedad. Dembélé, of course, with a key goal, but I thought Rafinha came on and he was absolutely wonderful. Key parts in all of those second-half moments, and I'm thinking in this game, Xavi may lean towards Dembélé, but I would also not be surprised in the slightest if Rafinha got the nod because of that impact, and because as well, there may be less space in this game. That might also suit Rafinha a little bit more, because on the left, there is absolutely no doubt in my mind at all that that has to be Ansu Fati. I think his link up with Lewandowski, I think the way that he came on, changed the game, looked full of life, full of enthusiasm, and really electric again. That's the Ansu Fati that we want to see, that we love seeing out there on the field, and to do that again in this game would be incredible. To follow it up in front of a Camp Nou crowd, it would be absolutely electric, and I think that's a great lineup. I think that there is something that can cause Valladolid problems in all areas of the field. I also think even with that lineup there's so much that you could bring on. There's so many ways that Xavi could impact the game in the second half, and that's the beauty of having such a stacked squad now, having all of these options at your disposal. And of course, I would like to know, guys, what would your lineup be? Who would you start with in this game? Because in terms of the predictions, it is very safe to say that you guys are in confident mood ahead of this one. We scored 4 against Real Sociedad, and many of you guys believe that we could do it again, that we could do it in this game. And if we can get that early goal, if we can unlock that Valladolid defence, I do believe then the goals can flow. But what we can't do is repeat the mistakes that we saw against Rayo, get a bit frustrated, get a bit disjointed. Let's stick to our shape, let's keep our rhythm, keep the passing crisp, and hopefully we can get plenty of goals and rack up the confidence in this one. And I hope we see Kounde as well at some point in this game for his league debut at Barça. Please do let me know all of your thoughts and your predictions ahead of this game. What are you expecting to see? What do you want to see? And of course, I'll be seeing you straight after the game for all of the reaction. And I hope tomorrow it's a party feel again for this incredibly exciting team. I will see you guys soon. I thank all of you today for joining me. But until next time, as always, Visca El Barça.